Scottsdale, Arizona Cactus League action as the Rockies are ready to host the Los Angeles Dodgers at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. A great day in Arizona as we get you here into the ballpark. Mark Stout alongside your favorite former Rocky, Ryan Spilborghs. If there's a guy that loves the sun, I know it's you.
Yeah, I do love the sun, and I love wearing sunscreen. You're going to need it today. Perfect day for baseball, perfect day to see the boys. Come with it.
One of the boys enjoying the sun at his time here in spring training. It's Carlos Gonzalez coming back from a number of injuries last year.
Yeah, he had the finger injury, the left knee tendonitis, and it's about time that you get to see Carlos Gonzalez be the guy that we've seen in the past, the 2010 batting champ, 2009 was one of the better players in the second half of baseball. You can see how athletic he is, and the guys in the clubhouse are starting to take notice as well.
2 hits, 2 ribbies yesterday. His spring training batting average is up to .375. There are a lot of expectations from Carlos Gonzalez. What does his teammate Troy Tulowitzki expect from number 5?
What do I want to see from Cargo? I'm a professional, someone that takes the failures that he had last year and he learns from it. He'll be the first one to tell you that he underperformed. At the same time, you want people to not go in the tank after that, to realize, hey, this is why I underperformed, and change, make changes for the better in routines, taking care of your body. As you get older, that becomes very key, and I think he's done a better job of that this offseason. You guys see him walking around. He's in great shape. He looks ready to play to me, and I think it's going to be a great year for him, and everybody's going to remember the Cargo of old.
Spilly, listening to Tulo, you can tell that he and Cargo have a special relationship.
Yeah, and that relationship is to push each other, and that is what Tulo was doing with Carlos Gonzalez, and Cargo took that to head. He decided, I need a chef. I need someone to help me not eat Cheetos. He's in the best shape, takes his shirt off. He looks like he's got 8 abs. I mean, the guy's in incredible shape. You can see it on the field. It's going to transition into the season.
He only played 70 games last year. Of course, Rockies fans hope that he can be healthy and play plenty more than 70 this upcoming season. How's the health of Jorge De La Rosa? He had an interesting start yesterday. We'll update you next when we come back to Scottsdale. A cloud in the sky at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. Rockies getting set to take on the Dodgers. Want to go back to yesterday, their game here on Root Sports. Jorge De La Rosa, the Rockies ace, took the hill. And in the 3rd inning, after he threw 45 pitches, he had to come out of the game because of a groin strain. Now, he had been struggling with that groin strain up to this point yesterday. But he came out with head athletic trainer Keith Duggar, you see there. They took him out of the game. He did have an MRI today, and all it showed was a groin strain. I was able to talk to Walt Weiss prior to today's game, and he said, you know what, it's better than the team expected because Jorge De La Rosa, they're thinking, is going to be the starter for the home opener coming up on April the 10th, and you can see why. Last season, 14-11 mark, 45 career wins at Coors Field. He is 20-3 at Coors Field the last 2 seasons, and you see where he ranks when you're talking about franchise wins with this organization. So Jorge De La Rosa is a big question mark. The MRI didn't show anything more than a groin strain. They will take it day by day and see if he can make his next start here in Cactus League play. When we come back, Jhoulys Chacin will be on the hill, and we'll talk about him as he gets ready to take on the Dodgers.
Oh, you never get tired of it. March in Scottsdale, gorgeous afternoon. A little hardball coming your way here in a matter of moments. The Rockies and Dodgers, they're familiar friends from Southern California at Salt River Fields. And yep, the blankets are all out and the sunscreen being used liberally, we hope. Welcome upstairs, everybody, with Ryan Spilborghs, who's raced up the stairs like the great athlete he was and still is. I'm Drew Goodman. Spilly, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited for today. There's a chance to see Chacin throw today. I haven't seen it do it. And a chance to get to see the Dodgers. We haven't seen this Dodger team yet.
I'm looking forward to seeing Nolan Arenado, who's had a great spring and has as great a future, pretty good present also. We'll see him in action this afternoon. But back to Jhoulys Chacin. Out most of last year with the shoulder ailment. He's been a little bit better each time out. They're looking for greater arm speed.
Yeah, you want to see the arm speed. He's been throwing about 84 to 87 miles an hour so far in spring. You want to see that velocity start to tick up because you know that shoulder health is getting better.
So Chacin, again, you look at stats this time of year, it really doesn't mean a whole lot. And especially for a veteran guy, you want to see him get ground ball outs and be able to put guys away with 2 strikes with either that slider or miss-hit ball, something we saw with regularity early in his career. And he's a guy, people sometimes forget, this game moves so quickly. He's a guy in his career that's fashioned a mid-3 ERA, pitching half his games at Coors Field.
I used to think that Chacin was a great comparative to Matt Cain. They're very similar with their mechanics, very similar with their fastball slider. What I like about Chacin, and even though he doesn't have that velocity right now, he still has that deception. Hides the ball very well. The slider will always play. But for me, eventually when he gets that fastball command and gets that velocity up a tick, he's going to increase the amount of strikeouts. Last year, of course, 1-7 with a 5.4 ERA. He needs to improve for the Rockies to improve.
Well, Spill, you played with him, and one of the things that always impressed me about Chacin, this wasn't like some guy with a huge arm. He always had a good arm, but he's always been a pitcher first. So we'll watch how it unfolds today for Chacin. There's Jimmy Rollins. That's strange, folks. Him out of a Philadelphia Phillies uniform, but he has come west. The veteran shortstop will be the shortstop this year for the Dodgers. Carl Crawford will be in left field. He, of course, will be there on an everyday basis once the season commences. Howie Kendrick, he didn't have to move far. I don't think he had to change homes. He goes from Anaheim up the road to Dodger Stadium. Andre Ethier, who looks like he'll be the fourth outfielder unless they move him. He'll be DHing today. Scott Van Slyke will be at center. Juan Uribe, the former Rocky. Chris Heisey trying to earn a spot with the Dodgers. A.J. Ellis, the veteran catcher. And Okoye Dixon.
You got it.
I nailed it.
Yeah.
Okoye. We had 3 different pronunciations earlier today, but they double-checked with Mr. Dixon, and it's Okoye. Donnie Mattingly's here. This is a split squad situation for both teams. The Rockies have a roster on the road playing today, and the Dodgers have half their team playing down in San Antonio. They played last night, in fact. Jimmy takes a look at another pitch that's in there for a strike. So quickly it is 0-2 on the diminutive 3-time All-Star and former National League MVP back in 2007, J-Roll. And that is the nasty slider you remember very well from watching from center field.
And I actually saw it on a rehab assignment. He struck me out with the same pitch.
Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively. Drew Stubbs will be in the middle. He's had a gorgeous spring. Kyle Parker's had a good spring. He's in left. Cargo's back out there, back-to-back days in right. Arenado. Emerson Jimenez, good-looking young prospect at shortstop. Trevor Story, speaking of good-looking prospects, he's at second. McBride and McHenry. And we should tell you off the top, Troy Tulowitzki this morning was in the lineup, and then Walt Weiss kind of thought better of it. There's not an injury there, but he was removed from the lineup because at this juncture, Walt didn't feel like playing him back-to-back yet. He kind of changed his mind and took him out of the lineup. And the guy to the right of Walt Weiss, he was a pretty good player for the Rockies and a member of the Lake Street Bombers, if I recollect accurately.
Never heard of him.
Yeah. Larry Walker's here for the next several days. Good to see Walk.
Always the jovial self. Good at ribbing everybody in the general vicinity, so it's going to be great seeing a good Canadian player.
On the ground, tough hop, knocked down, which you have the luxury to do at first. Matt McBride handled that well. He got an in-between hop, and there's 2 outs.
Well, going back to Tulowitzki, I think Walt does the right play. It's still early in spring training. Granted, the season starts in about 14 days, but you do not want to give a chance to hurt one of your players. We saw yesterday with De La Rosa. His side was barking a little bit. There's no reason to push yourself. Last year, Tyler Chatwood gets hurt, running out a triple. You don't want to lose players in spring training. If you're going to lose your players, you lose them in the season.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Howie Kendrick, who hit .293 last year, drives one to right center field, and that is going to touch down in front of Cargo, cuts it off. And with that great arm of his, holds Kendrick to a 2-out single.
And Howie Kendrick is the prime example of an inside-out hitter. Always staying inside the baseball, always trying to get the ball to right center field. Great hitter. He's going to be a good addition for the Los Angeles Dodgers. We're talking 19 different players on the Dodgers 40-man roster from last season.
So here's Andre Ethier, and he's in a peculiar spot. I mean, this guy's been a very good player in his career. He is due $56 million over the next 3 years. But last year, he primarily was a 4th outfielder, and the numbers were the poorest of his career. And he drives this ball to right center field, and it's going to land among the folks who are sunbathing. That is a long 2-run home run. So a good start for Chacin, the first 2 hitters, and then a bullet to right and a 400-plus foot home run to right center, and it's 2-0 Los Angeles.
Well, Andre went into the Dodgers front office in February trying to clear the air, saying, I want to be an every single day player. Of course, when you have Yasiel Puig and Jock Peterson, it's not going to get a chance to play every day, but you see a pitch up in the zone to Andre right there. He's always done damage against the Rockies. Promptly hits it in right field.
Yeah, that was a no-doubter. And Van Slyke checks his swing, but he went through, so it's 0-1. Another slider, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Ethier had a couple hits playing yesterday. He had a slow start to the spring.
Well, and that's where Chacin's velocity, when you're 84 to 88 miles an hour, you don't have the luxury of missing middle and up to a left-handed batter.
And that's the #1 pitch for any pitcher, but the #1 pitch that they're focused on. When I say they, talking about the Rockies brass and, of course, most importantly, Walt Weiss. Fastball command, and is he picking up the velocity a little bit? And this is foul past Davey Lopes at first base.
And it's not to say that you cannot throw 84 to 88 miles an hour and not get major league hitters out, but your ability to make a bad pitch and get away with it lessens your margin for error versus if you're throwing 88 to 92. We've mentioned before that the hitting speed for a major league hitter is about 88 to 92. Anything above that becomes a little more difficult.
3-2 on Van Slyke, whose father was quite a player. One of those great Pittsburgh Pirate teams of Jim Leland in the early 90s that captured 3 consecutive divisions. Bonds, Bonilla, and Van Slyke off the end of the bat, and Parker will grab it to close the inning. But the Dodgers jump on top quickly. A 2-out, 2-run home run from Andre Ethier against Jhoulys. Offensively trailing 2-0 on a beautiful afternoon. Rockies split squad affair. We talked about the fact they're on the road. A bunch of guys playing over in Goodyear against the Cleveland Indians. Leading things off will be Drew Stubbs this afternoon. Cargo's back in there. He drove in both runs for the Rockies yesterday. Hit the ball hard all 3 times. Nolan Arenado has had a beautiful spring. Matt McBride will bat cleanup. He's had a good spring. Then McHenry's behind the plate. Kyle Parker. Nick Hundley's DHing. He caught most of the game yesterday. Trevor Story we saw late. He'll get a few at-bats this afternoon. And Emerson Jimenez, good-looking young player for the Rockies, who was in Asheville last year. And a guy who's trying to battle his way back. 32-year-old Chad Gaudin, who was out of baseball last year because of an injury. The last time we saw him, he was pitching for the San Francisco Giants in 2013, primarily as a starter, but he's always been a swing guy, Billy.
And he's good in the fact that he can be in the bullpen and he can be the swing guy. This is his first start of spring training for the Dodgers, but coming out of the pen, he's done very well. 4 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts. I think he's opening the eyes, especially when you have Hyun-Jin Ryu being potentially on the disabled list to start the season. So it's a good option for the Dodgers.
And that is strike 3 on Stubbs. So 3 pitches, and Drew is dismissed. So with 1 out, Cargo will come up. I know it's March, but he's exactly where you'd want him to be. As we bragged on him yesterday, he's locked in pretty good.
He's locked in, and for spring training, you're right. You don't want to be hitting the cover off the ball, but it's also good to be feeling confident. And I think you've heard Carlos Gonzalez say his first game of spring training, he was nervous. He wasn't sure what he was going to feel like, how he was going to respond. And to be able to do what he's done and not have body aches, it's exciting for him. He feels great. He mentioned the other day, hey, I want to win an MVP. I want to be at least mentioned in that type of conversation. When you have a Tulo and a Cargo, 2 MVP conversation starters, you're in a good place for as far as being a Rockies fan.
So you know what? Let me extend that one, too. Because the guy on deck, I think before his career is done, will either win one or flirt with winning one. Because he's that talented. I think he's going to be a mid-20s home run guy. He had 18 last year. He's already got a few this spring.
I think
He's going to hit 300. He's going to drive in runs. Always had a knack for doing that. And his defense is without parallel at third base.
And the other thing is he works his tail off. He wants to be better. He's one of these baseball rats. When you talk about baseball rats, I think of Matt Holliday. I think of Tulo. I think of Dustin Pedroia. I think of guys that just want to be around the game, talk about the game. Nolan spent the other night, I think it was Wednesday night, he was sitting in the stands watching the game, watching his teammates after already playing that day-night doubleheader. That's how much he loves baseball. That's how much he loves his teammates. That's the type of guy you want on your team. And as far as being a cornerstone for your organization, those are the guys that you build your organization around.
3-2 on Cargo. 1 out. Rockies trailing 2-0. We're in the first. It's just great to see Cargo with that big smile of his walking around. Walt had something interesting to say about him also. He said in his 3 years now that he's been the manager, this is the start of Walt's 3rd year, he said this is the best I've seen him run.
He's been running I keep using 2009 as an example as he grounds at second base. In 2009, he was running all over the place. Center field, could play left, could play right. But seeing that explosive first step was something he's been missing the last couple of years, and you can see it again this year.
Oh, with Nolan coming up, let's glance at the Dodgers defensively. They figure to be better this year in the infield. Crawford, Van Slyke, and Heisey. Van Slyke's really more of a corner outfielder. Uribe played a tremendous third base last year. Juan is coming up on his 36th birthday in a couple of days. Jimmy Rollins, Howie Kendrick, Okoye Dixon obviously will not be there when the season begins. It'll be Adrian Gonzalez, who has a great glove. And behind the plate, it'll be more of Yasmani Grandal and some of A.J. Ellis. They will be better with Kendrick and Rollins up the middle than they were last year, though D. Gordon did a good job at second. Hanley Ramirez in Boston immediately told him when they signed him that they're moving him to left field. You know, Hanley is not the shortstop that Jimmy Rollins is, so the Dodgers will be better with the gloves.
Yes, but in the same regard, that lineup that the Dodgers are going to be throwing at you without Hanley Ramirez, without Matt Kemp, and that's no offense to Jimmy Rollins. He's a great player, former MVP, but they do not scare me. That lineup is not as deep as it was last year.
You make I think a salient point in that Matt Kemp in the second half of last year was probably one of the 5 best offensive players in the game.
Yeah, and there's a reason why the Dodgers ended up being so far in front of everybody. It was because you have a team clicking on all cylinders. Carl Crawford came back and he started to play well and started to play healthy. Matt Kemp getting back to that near MVP. Of course, the Dodgers always have great talent. It's going to come down to, can they mold, can they gel as a group? Can they play with that chemistry for each other?
Fouled off, and it's a 3-2 count on Nolan Arenado, leading the National League in spring training with 10 RBIs. The dugouts they build here at Salt River Fields, and this complex is, as Larry Walker was saying, it's like the Taj Mahal. Those are the biggest dugouts I think I've seen in Major League Baseball. Crawford battling the sun. We know how much of an issue that was yesterday. A 1-2-3 inning for Chad gone down. 2-0 Dodgers. We'll go to the second. Welcome back. Cactus League Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Sierra Trading Post. And the first pitch of the second inning is in there for a strike on Juan Uribe. Uribe's got a birthday coming up Monday. He will be 36, and he just keeps doing that. He may play till he's 46 if he keeps throwing out hits. Last year he hit .311. So a leadoff single for Uribe, and that'll bring up Chris Heisey.
You talk about a guy that's a Rockies killer. Juan Uribe is the poster boy for Rockies killer. He has gotten the Rockies, and former Rocky, it's almost like he's got a vendetta against them.
Juan's been around so long, he played for the Rockies in a different century, almost, right?
I just remember.
Were he and Walker teammates?
Yeah, I think so.
Swung on and missed by Chris Heisey. Chris has struggled this spring, trying as a minor league free agent, or veteran free agent actually, trying to make the Dodgers as an extra outfielder. He's always had a lot of pop. Had some productive years with Cincinnati. And this ball is pulled to left field. Parker gets over there, and he makes the catch. Let's check in downstairs with Mark Stout. Mark?
All right, thank you, Drew. And Spilly, I want to talk a little bit about Drew Stubbs. I asked him if he made any changes in the offseason, and what he did was he changed his glove. Last year, he made 7 errors in center. That led the NL for center fielders. So what he did was he had a synthetic glove, and now he's gone back to a leather glove from Nike. It's the same kind of model. They just made a few changes with it. And the reason why, you see how he's closing the glove there, and Spilly, you can talk to this as he closes it. He said he had problems fielding ground balls with the synthetic glove because it didn't close the right way, so he went back to the leather, which is an interesting thing because you don't think of outfielders talking about having to field the ball on the ground as much.
Well, Major League outfielders, if you can look at the grass, it's crisscross. The way that they mow the lawn, the way that they do it, all these complex patterns. The ball moves on the ground. It's called snaking. So you want the ability of your glove to be wide. And so with a leather glove, you can actually pull the thumb out, you can pull the pinky out, widen out the surface area for your leather glove versus a synthetic one, which doesn't quite open up as well. So I get where Drew's coming from. We've all been bitten by a snake in the outfield before.
Yeah, I was talking to Larry Walker about that today. I said, what was the field that had the worst snake on it? Did you say Dodger Stadium? I'm trying to remember. Was it Dodger Stadium?
Dodger Stadium's bad because the outfield grass is thick. And so when they do their little lines in the grass, it makes it move more. You would never think that. A fan at home was like, what are you talking about? The ball's just going to go right to the outfield. No, it moves.
It moves left and right.
Just think about putting on a green. If you're putting against the grain, the ball's going to do a different thing.
I always watch, and you guys do an amazing job because it's very disconcerting because literally it moves 6-8 inches sometimes. And you can put your glove down and the ball veers the other way.
The slower the ball goes, the more it'll move. So it'll be occasionally when you're running to a ball in the gap, left center gap or right center gap, that last couple feet when the ball's slowing down, the ball will snake on you.
Chacin's in the best spot to make the play, but he's going to give way, as he should, to Matt McBride, because as we all know, pitchers can't catch pop-ups. It's illegal at the big league level.
Live Rockies baseball is back in 2015 with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected with live radio, broadcasts, stats, news, and more.
Spilly, I know for you, it came down to UCSB and Sonoma State, and you decided to stay close to home so your family could watch you play.
I wouldn't mind being a wine sommelier, but for some reason I wanted to be closer to my family.
That's a strong debut by you because it's been years since we've worked sommelier into a baseball broadcast.
I got asked to do supercalifragilisticexpialidocious yesterday, and so I figured I'd just do it today.
It's all yours. And Okoye Dixon with a base hit. He is the product, folks, of Sonoma State. Cargo's ball. You talk about guys who hit the ball with great backspin. Cargo has such a strong arm. That ball just carried right over the head or off the glove of Emerson Jimenez. I don't think he thought it was going to carry like that.
Yeah, he's like, I haven't seen an arm like this before. And no offense to any of the minor leaguers, that's a major league cannon in right field.
Yeah. 2 on and 2 outs. Second look for Jimmy Rollins, who struck out on a real good slider his first time up. Jimmy fouls that off.
It is strange to see Jimmy Rollins in a Dodgers uniform, 14 years with the Philadelphia Phillies. They decided it was time for Freddie Galvis to take over at shortstop for the Phillies, and 1 year left on Jimmy's contract with the Dodgers, and there's a good kid coming up the pipeline, Corey Seager, shortstop. Not saying that he's going to push Jimmy out of the way, but certainly he's keeping a spot warm for him.
Well, they've already sent him down, but he's got a Tulowitzki-type body. He's about 6'4", 215 pounds. The younger brother, Kyle Seager, was an all-star last year and Gold Glover for Seattle. And Jimmy's going to be here this year, but in all likelihood, if he continues his career, it will be probably somewhere else next year, because they want Seager there. Now, Jimmy had to okay the trade. He's a 5-10 guy, and Philadelphia is just trying to remake their team. They got long in the tooth after so many successful seasons.
And that's part of baseball. When your stars start to age and you hang on to them a little bit longer than you should. Not saying that they hang on to Jimmy Rollins for too long, but last year hit 248, still stealing quite a bit of bags, but more importantly, he did bring some better metrics to the Dodgers shortstop.
2-2 on Rollins. Uribe at second. Okoye Dixon is at first. 2-run home run by Andre Ethier in the first, with Howie Kendrick aboard. That's why the Dodgers are up front. And another good breaking ball strikes out Rollins. So both punch outs in 2 innings of play for Chacin have been Jimmy Rollins. 2-0 Los Angeles. Mark Stout, I'm Drew Goodman. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 for the Rockies in the second inning. Matt McBride, Michael McHenry, Kyle Parker. Earlier today, a nice moment on the field for last year's Asheville Tourists team. They won the South Atlantic League. In 2014, they got their rings today. And you played on some good minor league teams. In fact, you look at that 07 team, and so many guys grew up together in the minor leagues. This is a special moment for the Sally League champs and all those kids.
It doesn't matter what level you're at. Whenever you win as a group, it's special. You'll remember if you won with your Little League team. You win a championship with your Little League team, you remember those guys. They'll remember that forever. In winning a championship as a group, you understand how important it is to play as a group together for each other. You start doing the little things. That's going to be a team that they're going to have reunions 20 years from now.
Pretty neat stuff. Matt McBride almost hit one out yesterday. Came in the ball game late. Did a good job behind the plate. Walt Weiss was really impressed, and that's one of the other intriguing things about McBride. He can swing the bat. He's got versatility. He can play corner outfield spots. He can play first base, and he can catch. Now, you're going to catch him every day. The Rockies don't need him to catch every day. But you can have your backup catcher swing the bat when you have 2.5 catchers, if you will.
And they have him hitting fourth today, so you trust what he's capable of doing, handling the bat. It's always nice when you have a position player that is so versatile that you can have him at first, have him in the outfield. The ability to catch, that's rare. It's rare to find a utility player that can catch.
Yeah. I always reference Eli Marrero when it comes to a guy that could play a lot of spots. And Marrero was really unique in that he could play center field and catch.
He could. He was a great, unique, very gifted with the bat. It makes your bench so much deeper when you have those abilities.
Yeah, no, we love Mike McHenry, but you're not going to see him in center field on a day that he gets his the break.
It would be all the outfielders crashed into each other, and you just have nobody left.
That's low. Let's check in with Mark Stout.
You know what, guys, I noticed that Matt McBride became a free agent on November the 5th of last year. 11 days later, he re-signed with the Rockies, and I asked him about that today. And he said, you know what, I am comfortable in this organization. And like you said, Walt knows that he can play the corner outfield spots, first base, and he can catch, and he's a .297 career hitter in the minor leagues. And, of course, he's played in the big leagues, too. So he's valuable, and that's how they kind of want to set up this organization so they have guys that are versatile.
Yep. That was a big league catch down the right field line by Chris Heisey.
Well, Chris Heisey's been known for defensively. He can play all three spots. That's a pretty tough play, running down towards the foul line with the fence in play. A little basket catch.
Two-got Kyle Parker shortened up on his swing and is in the best place offensively in his career. He got 26 at-bats last year at the big league level with 5 hits. His first time at the big league level. Takes a strike. He remains very close friends with Russell Wilson. They competed against each other in the ACC in football, and then that one year they were together in Asheville.
Played together. I think Russell Wilson's with the Rangers right now. Am I right? Did he go to spring training?
You know, I know he was scheduled to go down again. It's more of a.
So no, he's not.
Yeah, I mean he's not going to be working out every day. More of a ceremonial member of the Rangers organization.
That's fine.
That football thing doesn't work out, but so far the football thing's worked out nicely, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think if he keeps playing, he's going to get there.
Yeah. Kyle and I had a long conversation about the play, the most talked about play probably in the history of the NFL. The final meaningful snap in that Super Bowl when the slant route was picked off. And it's interesting getting his perspective as a former quarterback. He understood throwing the ball there because you want to make sure you get 4 downs with one timeout. And he said, you know what? There hadn't been a pass on a slant picked off in the NFL all year.
Oh, wow.
He said, but still given that, he said, I'd prefer to throw it outside. Strike 3, a delayed strike 3 call. So Parker is gone. 6 up, 6 set down so far by Chad Gaudin. 2-0 Dodgers. Cactus League Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Sierra Trading Post, your favorite adventure brands up to 70% off. Stores in Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, and Nevada. And by Taco Bell. If the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any regular season game, you get your Rockies Taco Special. First pitch out of the zone. That pitch is up high. As we go to the top of the third inning, Carl Crawford leading it off against Jhoulys Chacin, Howie Kendrick to follow, then Andre Ethier. And we're going to welcome to the booth the new general manager of the Rockies, Jeff Bridich. Brido, we look see that little camera there. There you go. I already gave you a hard time about wearing long sleeves. Everybody on your staff today is acting like it's 40 degrees out.
Well, it's fashionable.
It is fashionable. You represent it.
And the air conditioning in our building, a beautiful building over there in right field, is working very well.
So it's 2 different climates.
It
is
is
what you're telling us.
It is.
How you doing, man?
It's kind of Colorado in the building, and it's Phoenix outside of the building.
There you
That's
go.
funny. It's been we've known each other since 2005.
Yeah.
I mean, I still remember winter development. Here you come walking up. Me and Jeff Salazar are sitting looking at a field covered in snow. You come up and you have some papers for me to sign. Did you ever picture you and I being sitting here, you a general manager, me a broadcaster?
Well, I can tell you were immediately impressed. When I walked up with those papers, you're like, gosh, that's a guy to take seriously right there. No, it's a long, strange trip, right? I mean, that wasn't a real good throw, but yeah, it's been good since 05.
Well, I'll interject something. I have known you for 10 years as well, and I assumed one day that you would occupy this chair. In terms of Spielborg's working up here, no shot. He didn't speak English the first 3 years I knew him.
He beat the odds, big time odds.
Yeah,
he's overachieving,
Kudos.
isn't he? So the Rockies will pull the infield in. Kendrick, with now Crawford after the throwing error by McHenry, is at third base. Hey, first of all, overall feel. You're almost a month into this, and now in less than 3 weeks it starts for real. Mm-hmm. Kind of a two-part question. One, are you feeling more comfortable, A, in your role, and B, the overview of what you've seen thus far?
Yeah, the nice thing about this for me personally is that it's not, this is 10 years in the making, right, with this organization. So there's a lot of what we do here that I've already experienced firsthand. And so, just like anything else, whether it's our decision-making process in the winter or whatever comes, once the season starts, I feel like I know what we do well and what doesn't need to change or what's good about us and things that I'd, like to see us do a little differently. So with that stuff, it's been a good spring so far. And certainly, just like everybody else, greatly looking forward to the first week of April.
Well, behind every good marriage, you have a wife. And not to say that these guys are your wives, but Zach Rosenthal, Zach Wilson, John Wild, these are close guys to you, not only as far as your relationship, but also proximity to where you live in your neighborhood.
Right.
Describe that relationship with these 4 guys as a group that you guys are.
Yeah, we do refer to each other as work wives, and there's it's funny, but there's some truth in that because this is a lifestyle that we live. It's not just a job, and you buy into that lifestyle, and you spend at times you spend more time with the guys at work than you do with your own family, and so it's really developed over time. I think it developed among the 4 of us, and really it's a bigger group than just the 4 of us. I think it's unfair to just say it's 4 guys. The unique part about us in terms of the 4 is that we've really grown up together and grown up alongside each other, having to interact, having to help each other over time, over a decade, having to make decisions together, getting burned on stuff that you thought was a great decision and it ends up not being, and learning from that. So we've learned lessons together, seeing, feeling what it's like to be in a World Series and go through that. And knowing what's involved there. So when we are back there, we can see things coming and know some of the great things and know some of the pitfalls. There's all that shared experience, both good and bad, that creates a real close bond and an easy way of communicating. And so I think that's right now for us, we feel good about that. It's a competitive advantage for us.
Andre Ethier at the plate to run in after the Kendrick double.
I haven't been good luck here, sitting here.
We might kick you out.
There's one out. PFP practice,
There
right,
you
Philly?
go.
Yeah, you're not going to mess it up this time of year. We talked about that yesterday. You know, let's talk a little bit about Chacin. He's coming off really a year of inactivity. His shoulder was hurt. He's worked hard to get back in shape and get the shoulder ready. The arm speed is not where we've seen it in the past. How concerning is that for you as it is now at, March 21st?
Well, he, as I've said before, he did everything that, we agreed that he needed to do in the wintertime, and he executed it, and he's strong and he's healthy, and the fact is that he hasn't really pitched in a while competitively, and so this is part of what February and March is for, is to get back into that competitive activity and make sure that your body is responding the way it should respond, which in his case to this point it has. He's scheduled to go 4 innings today, which is right in line with all the rest of our starters as we build up our guys. And some guys come into camp and they're raring to go and they're built up, and it's easier for them, and some guys it takes a little bit longer, and maybe there's certain mechanical adjustments that need to be made to expedite that. So we're still working through that with Jhoulys. He's worked hard, and I think everybody's just happy that he's healthy and he's throwing freely, and we're going to continue to watch him and try to help him build up strength as the final weeks of spring.
A natural follow-up for all the hardcore Rockies fans and even fans around baseball. This is going to get another run in. Van Slyke with a scoring fly ball, and Kendrick will score the 4th run for the Dodgers. But people around baseball who follow sport know the names Eddie Butler. They know the names Jonathan Gray.
Sure.
And we've seen them at times very, very good, as have you this spring. How far away are they? And it's a natural question this time of year when you're talking about 2 prospects who have that kind of ability.
Right. Well, Eddie's on the roster already. He made his debut last year, and got a feel for what it's like to pitch at the big league level. John is not. His first full season of pro ball was at the AA level last year, and there was a lot of good stuff for him, a lot of lessons learned for John Gray last year in terms of what it takes to pitch well professionally. And it's tough to put specific timelines. I think the fact that they both pitched either at the highest ultimate level, in Eddie's case or in John's case at one of the highest levels of pro ball, you would hope that they build on that, and that's put them in position to arrive here, and not just arrive at this level, but stay and impact for a while. And but it's really, as I said, it's real difficult to have a real definite and specific timeline for that. It's a little bit different for each guy, and we're certainly not in the game of rushing that. Because when they arrive, they need to arrive and stay and help us win.
Well, another pitcher that we're going to see later today that has made a transition back to the starting rotation is Chad Bettis. What have you seen as far as his improvement over last year? We've seen the struggles he had last year, but what have you seen this spring that has given you some encouragement?
We talked to Chad really at the end of last year and at the beginning of the wintertime about rediscovering himself as a starting pitcher, which I think is, mentally where he has the most comfort and he feels the strongest about himself. And so I think that's a great thing for him. And there are certain things, as I said before, mechanically, pitchers that sometimes mechanics can be forgotten over, 4 or 5 months of winter, and you have to rediscover the timing of all the stuff and make sure that you can repeat that. And Chad, we've worked hard with Chad on that, and also trying to develop Chad still as a pitcher and some of the skill sets that pitchers need. It's not just about throwing a ball up there really hard, which he can do. It's about making pitches. So he's improved in that so far, and we'll hopefully he'll have a great outing here today.
Got another half inning in you?
Sure.
Voice good?
Sure. Good.
4-0 LA. Back in a moment with Jeff Bridich, general manager of the Rockies. We go to the bottom of the third inning with Ryan Spilborghs and Mark Stout. I'm Drew Goodman. Jeff Bridich, general manager of the Rockies, has joined us upstairs. Here's Jeff's rise through the Rockies organization after working in the commissioner's office after graduation from Harvard. Manager of minor league operations in 2004, senior director of baseball operations, and he was running the farm system the last few years. And I should mention that I know in Sporting News ranked the Rockies farm system number 4 in baseball. So kudos to you and your staff over the last several years for the players acquired, and player development so huge to any organization, but particularly to the Rockies. You have to be pleased with that.
You slip them a little money and they'll put you in the top 5.
Is that how that works?
Actually, before the game today, topically here, we were able to give the Asheville Tourists, the members of the Asheville Tourists, their championship rings right down here on the field pregame, and so the fans got to see the guys get their rings, and that's certainly a cool thing for the staff members and the players to actually get. And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's an incredible. Brian DeWine and the owner and Larry Hawkins, the GM of the Tourist, did an unbelievable job designing. It's a real.
It's a big time ring.
It is a big time ring.
Yeah, we showed some video from the ceremony. Yeah. Nick Hundley takes outside. What is when you got this job and you started to look at the big picture and where you wanted to go? And I know you're not going to build Rome overnight,
right?
But was there a mantra that you wanted to take and pass along, not only to your staff, but to the players, to the entire organization, on how you live and breathe?
Well, in terms of how we play the game,
sure.
Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, there's a lot of things that we did in player development over the last 3 years that some of it we had done, and I think for a long time. Some of it I think we needed to remind ourselves and rediscover ways of playing the game that are going to help us. And one of those is aggressiveness, and there's baseball is it can be a long game, 3+ hours at a time. It can be a long season, 162 games, hopefully more if you're good. There's a lot of time in there to get complacent and be conservative and at times lazy, and aggressive baseball and taking it to your opposition is something that I think is going to be beneficial to us in the long run. And there's different ways of doing that, obviously, and certainly a lot of ways that you can practice that element of the game in the minor leagues. How you apply it at the major leagues, obviously, for us is going to be a huge thing. The other thing would be versatility. I think I've talked about that in the offseason here, player position versatility offensively, and allowing us, as a national team to do what we need to do on the field to put us in situations to win tight games.
Well, and you mentioned especially doing the little things, and looking at the Rockies' home road splits last year, we cannot talk about Rockies offense without talking about being able to do the little things. When the Rockies go on the road, are you expecting the bunt to be more in play? Are you expecting the guys to take more quality at bats? Is that something that you're telling the guys at the big league level how important it is to be able, because when you look at the numbers, you see you hit 322 at home, you hit 228 on the road. Going into San Francisco, going and facing the Dodgers and the Padres, you're not going to club them over their head.
Right.
Unless you have Trevor Story hitting.
Those are impressive back-to-back swings in the big part of the ballpark. Double by Nick Hundley and a triple by Trevor Story.
Trevor stays in the middle of the field. He's a dangerous hitter.
Well, and you can see that. He gets a hanging slider up. He hits it down into right center field, bounces over Scott Van Slyke, and there's a stand-up triple.
Jeff, the thing about him, I remember when you guys took him out of high school in Irving, Texas, and he had a shortstop body. Right. He looks like a corner infielder now. I mean, he's a strong kid.
He has grown up. You draft those high school kids, and you see it in guys like Nolan Arenado, and now Trevor Story here. They at some point they grow into their man's body, and that's what's going on with Trevor. So he's a strong kid. He can still play a shortstop position. Position versatility, right? We just talked about it. Mm-hmm. He needs more time at second base. He's spent a lot of time in his professional career thus far at short and at third, and we're going to continue to make second base a reality for him, so that if and when he's called on, he can do what he needs to do to help us win games at the big league level.
Real quick, expound. They're looking at Chad Godin. Expound a little bit on Spilly's question. Yep. The home road splits, which has plagued this organization, as you know, for more than 2 decades.
Well, I struggle when we look at it just in terms of home and road. It's tough. It's very difficult, whether it's us or it's any other team in the game. Really, any other team in any sport, it's difficult. You can't play one style of baseball or one style of your sport at home and play a completely different one on the road. And so I look at these things collectively in terms of home and road. How we play on the road is a reflection of how we play at home, and vice versa. And so the skill sets that we have as a collective group offensively are going to greatly determine how effective we are on the road, and frankly, how effective we are and how consistent we are from game to game and from series to series. And if we don't have the skill sets necessary, then we're gonna struggle no matter where. And so I think that we need to keep a keen eye on that.
Well, and when you talk about not changing the style of play, when you're playing in the National League West, the style of play is you have to get guys on base, earn your walks, move them over. Are you saying that even at home at Coors Field that's something that as a group you want to be better at as well?
For me, I look at the game as a collection of situations. Once that first pitch in the game is thrown, really for the next 9 innings, you have a collection of situations in this game. And our job as a team is to win those situations more often than our opposition wins those situations. And there's not only one way or one style of doing that, and that's what I mean when we're talking about skill sets. Look, there's obviously, playing at altitude, it's unique, right? Nobody else does it quite like us, and it's going to be an advantage for us. But it's not unique in the sense that teams all over the game have to adjust, certain little ways when are playing in different ballparks.
Right.
The Phillies play in a hitter's ballpark.
Right.
The Chicago White Sox play in it, and when they travel to go, play in LA or play in San Francisco, sometimes the balls don't travel as far. It's not that element is not unique to us. And so every team has to make certain little adjustments. We have to have, if we're going to make adjustments, we have to have skill sets and we have to have a foundation off of which to adjust. And if we don't have those skill sets collectively as a team, that's on us as an organization. That's on our development process. That's on our coaching staff and our players to recognize situations and commit to executing those situations in games, in big games, and winning those situations more than our opponent.
Because you've been with the organization now for more than a decade, the Achilles heel obviously has been the development and sustaining the pitching talent at this level. Do you have a better feel for it now, certainly than you did some years ago? And I know you have some guys, we talked about Butler and Gray, Freeland, who you drafted last year. Tyler Anderson was recovering from an elbow situation that you're quite high on. But do you understand where the organization maybe was short in years past and how you can rectify that going forward?
Pitching's tough. I mean, look all over the game, right? It's like every team almost is dealing with somebody with an elbow, some big name and major talent having some sort of shoulder, elbow issue, or just not being able to pitch. And that's, it's a tough thing. I mean, our depth in terms of injuries is going to be tested just like anybody else's. In terms of the sustainability of pitchers, we're not, our heads are not in the sand. I mean, is that the elephant in the room for us? Over the course of 20 years of the organization, yeah, I guess you could say that. But I also, feel very confident in looking at some of the best pitchers in our organization. They're not all cut from the same cloth, and I know I've said this before. They're not all cut from the same cloth. They're not the exact same. There's no one mold that you cast from and say this guy and only this guy or this type of guy can succeed here and pitch for the Colorado Rockies. That's
so not the argument that people have said. Not only a ground ball pitcher can succeed at Coors Field. Well, you're going to have a big draft in June. You got a big draft pool. You got supplemental first-round picks for Kadire. How important is this draft coming up for you guys, and this being your first draft as a GM?
Well, every draft is important. It's certainly not my draft. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as the organization's draft, and one of the best ways we have every year of adding talent into our organization. And so Billy Schmidt and Danny Montgomery, Mark Gustafson, and the rest of our guys in that department do a great job. We have scouts. We just had them actually here last week. The cross-checkers were in, and reviewing, making sure that there were no players missed across the country, that we had the coverage up to this point that we needed to have, and setting a course and a plan for the next couple months here. They do a great job, and so it's nice to have that Kadire pick, certainly. In June, I think it gives our scouting staff that excitement to have 4 of the first 44 picks,
yeah.
And I think 5 of the first 77 picks in the country. I mean, that's of huge potential benefit for us, and I have all the faith in the world that Billy and the guys will find us good players.
Sergio Santos is taken over, and Emerson Jimenez with a knock to left field. He had a nice season at Asheville. Speaking of guys that got to pick up a ring before the ball game, and I know he's well thought of.
He is. He probably, if not the most pure defensive shortstop and young shortstop in the organization, he's one of them. And he's a very natural infielder. He looks the part. He's got a plus arm. He can move around. He's a switch hitter. We added, a funny thing, before we signed him out of Latin America, he switch hit, and we wanted him to just focus on left-handed to get stronger. And he came to us and said, look, I'd really like to try switch hitting again. So, this winter we added right-handed hitting again, and so it's only going to increase his versatility, and he's a good-looking young kid.
And speaking about switch hitting shortstops, Walt Weiss, you and his relationship this last offseason has grown a lot. Maybe describe to the fans that are listening how important you guys being on the same page has been.
Same page, it's an interesting way to put it, because one of the things that he and I figured out early on, and it was October, was that we just naturally looked at the game in extremely similar ways, based on how we were raised in the game, based on what was important to us, based on what we enjoyed seeing our teams or our baseball players do out on the field. And I think that was a great jumping off point for us, in that we had already had all this common ground that we really didn't know we had, because we had spent time around each other, but not the quality time and day after day that you really need to get to know and respect and appreciate somebody. And so that was a wonderful thing. And since then, it's just been, inclusion. It's been including each other in almost everything that we do, and trying to support each other in the best ways possible.
Do you have a feel for how you will operate inside the season? I mean, there's some GMs that that sit back and allow you have a close relationship, as you described with Walt, and you don't want to look over his shoulder. There are other, Mike Rizzo, for instance, with the Washington Nationals. I mean, he's on the field every day. And do you have a feel yet for how you want to operate? Not that it necessarily matters, but how present you want to be.
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. I try to stay. If I can, I know I'm here. I'm not sure I remember what I was doing an hour ago, and I'm not sure I know what I'm going to be doing an hour from now. But you try to keep the focus in front of you for right now. And there's the title of the job is general manager. So there's a lot to, the guys in the office make fun of me that I'll walk by and I'll go, hey, what are you generally managing right now? But there is some truth in that, there's scouts and amateur drafts, there's professional scouts, and how are we scouting the rest of pro baseball? There's our people at Coors Field that are working hard to get ready for. I mean, there's just so much to try to make sure that you're on top of that. I'm not sure yet how much I'll travel, how much I'll be on the field, what my presence will be. I'm not quite sure yet.
And then there's folks like us that call you up, and yeah. There's probably, you can watch it from afar, you can study it, but when you're in that seat, it as much as you think you probably say, boy, there is a lot more to it, isn't there?
There's a ton to it. And, that's what you sign up for. It's certainly not a complaint. And by any stretch of the imagination, it's a great responsibility to have, and quite an honor to have it. And it absolutely 110% takes a village to do the job. And if you don't have good people with you and around you, top down, bottom up, the job's impossible to do, and you can't micromanage it because it's so broad, and there's so many people to be accountable to. I mean, it really is a service job in so many ways that, and there's so many people that make up an organization that if you try to micromanage it, your head's going to be spinning constantly.
Well, one guy that's at the plate right now has mentioned numerous times about how it feels different, how having the new front office, there's a better feel. The guys feel it in the locker room. Whether you know that you've created this atmosphere that feels better for the guys, it's being noticed by your top players. It's being noticed by some of the guys in the minor league system that have not experienced being in the Colorado Rockies clubhouse, but they're starting to feel the trickle down all the way down to the bottom.
That's nice to hear. I hope it's genuine. Really, it's not like there's some magic formula. It's us just trying to be ourselves and treat people the way that we would hope to be treated. Treat them professionally with respect. Treat them like adults, unless they are proving to us otherwise that they're not adults, and sometimes that happens. But treating them as most players, most people in the game, because there's a lot of uncomfortable situations that potentially come up when people are constantly being evaluated, and stuff happens, and we're human beings. There's uncomfortable things that you have to do, and you have to have those tough discussions at times, and you have to relay information that people are not going to want to hear at times. But if you don't handle it professionally and you don't handle it in an adult manner, that's when things can go sideways. So that's really what we're focused on.
Did you drop a note to Tommy Amaker because he was close?
The funny thing there was, Walt Weiss, where he was.
Yeah. You guys have a little side bet, Carolina and the Crimson of Harvard?
Officially, no. On the record,
not.
no, of course
Right.
not. No, that's illegal, right? Get in there.
Get through. That'll be a base hit for Cargo. Jimenez stops at third. That's something the Carolina kid said today. Walt Weiss said, this is the best I've seen Cargo run, period. And Walt's been, this is his third year now for Walt. So it's not just last year when Cargo was battling all of the issues he had to battle on and off the field, but it goes back to his first year as well.
And it's similar to De La Rosa, and I know that sounds weird, but when Jorge had his Tommy John surgery, he had to work on his body and his entire body, and he had to rehab. Really, what the process is you rehab your entire body, and you get your entire body, your core, everything stronger. So, when Jorge was coming back from Tommy John, his shoulder strength and his core strength was never stronger, and never better, and so same thing with Tula, or with Cargo, and Tula for that matter, is they had to work so hard in the offseason that their conditioning and their bodies are probably the best they've been in years.
2 outs, and McBride will come up. Here's a guy that you've known for a while. He's the last vestige of the Ubaldo trade,
right.
And he just continues to impress. He can swing the bat, and he's got unique versatility. We always talk about versatility. You were discussing it, because he can catch and go and play, first base, throw him out in the outfield. He's not going to embarrass himself.
Yep. He's, as part of what was attractive to us in him, is something that, skill set that we knew he had with his time in Cleveland. And, he does a lot of things really well as a hitter, and very naturally as a hitter. And he's got that, you hear that phrase, he's got a knack for hitting. He's hitterish. That's Matt McBride. And he can use the whole field. He can drive the ball. He does a lot of stuff.
This can't be overstated, probably. And I know you have to feel it from your position, not just now, but in the past. We, as broadcasters, and certainly the folks that write, are going to pay so much attention to who heads north, the 25 guys that start on opening day. In reality, to get where you want to be, which is world champion, you're going to need 35 to 45 guys. So even if a guy is sent out initially, that doesn't mean he's sent into oblivion.
Correct. Yeah, we are focused on the group. You can get very tunnel visioned when you are every day, if you come to work thinking about just the 25 guys, the 25 guys, 25. It's so much more than that. Look at most any season in any organization, the 25-man roster is different by the middle of April anyway. So if you're not focused on the strengths of the group and how that's going to shape up for you, you're probably missing the boat.
Well, I want you to get back to your family. I want you to take
Thanks
that
so
sweatshirt
much.
off because you're making me hot. Good to see you, Brido.
Thanks, man.
Man. Jeff Bridich.
Top of the fourth inning, a great tweet by an old friend. It says, well, this is awkward. The new Albuquerque Isotopes, now the affiliate of the Rockies, who used to be the affiliate of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Hashtag rocks fam. You gotta love stuff like that, right?
Absolutely.
Awkward girlfriend sees him with her new boyfriend.
And I want to be careful how I say this, because the folks in Colorado Springs have been so loyal to the Sky Sox
for
through the
sure.
years, and it was a great relationship. And you're talking about an hour away, boy. You know, somebody goes down, you can call somebody up, and they're in a car. This is going to be great for the organization as well. And Albuquerque, listen, they've been our neighbors, great neighbors to the south. So you're talking about a 6-hour, 5.5-hour drive. You step on it if you got the hot rod like Spilly,
like
I tweeted out yesterday. Spilly's rental
Tawny
hot
Chacin
rod
sitting on top.
But it's a short flight. It's a gorgeous ballpark. Spilly, you've played there. This is going to be a great fit as well.
Great fit as well. Of course, I loved Colorado Springs. I have great memories. I'm probably not in the big leagues if it wasn't for my time in Colorado Springs and the opportunity to get better at Colorado Springs. But like every good relationship, there's always times. And in baseball, it's a business. You see teams move from team to team. I think now the Toronto Blue Jays will be in Colorado Springs, which will be a great fit. Anytime you have baseball in Colorado, it's great.
Well said. I agree with you. Base hit for A.J. Ellis. That is the 7th hit against Chacin in 3+ innings. And that'll bring up Okoye Dixon. Tried to go too fast there. Got myself in trouble, Spilly.
The Sonoma Nightmare. You think that'll catch?
Listen, if he does enough, it may just.
He's had a great spring.
Well, he's a strong-looking kid. A couple home runs this spring, and McHenry trying to find the baseball, and on the dirt ball, A.J. Ellis will move up. So that'll be a wild pitch against Chacin.
Whenever I see right-handed batters being able to hit the ball the opposite field, Dixon's hit in the first inning or the second inning was a single to right field. His home runs this spring have been to right field. That's a good sign if you're especially a power guy, first baseman, being able to drive the ball opposite field keeps you on the ball longer. This guy has a chance to do some damage.
Well, we'll see how he's learned in his professional career, because now you want to do everything you can to hit the ball to the right side with the runner at second and nobody out. And Chacin trying to prevent him from doing that, working the inside part of the plate.
There's a coach I had in AAA a couple years ago, Bobby Jones, and in situations like this where you have a runner on second, especially when you're up in the count, go ahead and look to pull it right through that shortstop side, because the pitcher is coming inside, throwing sinkers in.
Kind of counter what is intuitive.
So go ahead and swing at that ball right inside. All fans on opening day, April 10th, will receive a 2015 magnet schedule courtesy of King Soopers. Tickets for the rest of the opening weekend, April 11th and 12th, are still available.
Well, that'll be all for Chacin. He has hit his pitch count. 2 on here in the 4th inning. He'll be removed from the ball game. More on Chacin's outing when we come back. It's 4-2 Los Angeles. We're in the 4th. Today's CenturyLink What's Next. What's next? We're on the tube as the Rockies will be in action again tomorrow. And Kyle Kendrick will pitch in the neighborhood of 4 innings tomorrow for the Rockies. And he's been named the opening day starter on April the 6th in Milwaukee at Miller Park. 10-win pitcher last year for Philadelphia. He's been a double-digit winner with the Phils for a number of years. Chad Bettis is taking over here for Chacin. 2 on, nobody out in the 4th inning. And Chad, who flirted with the bullpen activity a year ago, they have redirected what they want from Chad. They want him to be a starting pitcher. So you're going to see Chad for several innings behind Chacin. A.J. Ellis is at second base. He singled, moved up on a wild pitch, and Okoye Dixon just walked. Jimmy Rollins, 2 strikeouts, the only 2 strikeouts for Chacin, and he tops this to McBride. There's one, return throw in time. Well done. That's a very hard turn, a 3-6-1. It's most difficult for the pitcher to get under control and find the baseball. Not easy to do.
Not easy to do, and Emerson Jimenez at shortstop does a great job of leading the pitcher. He's got a great arm. You can see the ball's right on the money. There's times where, as a young guy, you're going to try to fire it as hard as you can. McBride, of course, being that versatility, playing first, catcher, does a great job. But good job all around on that play.
Yeah, a good feed to start the double play by McBride. And great job by Bettis getting there early. Because if you're moving, Spill, you got to find the bag with your feet. You got to find the baseball coming at you at 90 miles an hour.
Well, and that's where I said that Emerson did a good job of making sure it's a pitcher at first base, so you can't just fire it in there.
Carl Crawford, pitched by Bettis. Bettis, product of Texas Tech. He's got a big arm.
Chacin was 86 to 88 today, topped out at 90 miles an hour. He threw 1 pitch at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, there was a lot of hard hit balls. There's no way to dismiss that.
No, there wasn't. He left a lot of balls up over the plate. If he's going to be pitching at those velocities, he has to be finer. He has to be lower in the zone. He has to be able to go in and out, have that fastball command, and that'll allow that slider to work and play more to his liking. Not a lot of ground ball outs for him today either. A lot of fly ball outs. That just proves that he needs to get the ball down.
He had 3 ground ball outs in 3+ innings. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bettis trying to get out of the situation, and that just missed. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Always like Bettis's demeanor on the mound. I think he's a really competitive guy.
Almost has a closer's demeanor for a starting pitcher.
Good pitch. Bottom dropped out of that. Looked like a changeup.
It was a great changeup.
Well done by Bettis. He inherited a 2-on, nobody out situation. No damage done. 4-2 it remains. Fourth inning, Michael McHenry will lead it off. He's batting in the 5 spot this afternoon. Who wants tacos? If the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any regular season game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the following day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. We have a tweet, another tweet to look at. In Goodyear, split squad day. Rockies playing the Indians over in Goodyear. Chuck Nasty with a home run trot after his first home run of the spring, and the Rockies are up behind David Hale 3-1. Chuck Nasty earlier today was calling his shots at BP before they got on the bus to go to Goodyear.
He was like a little puppy. It's like he learned something new. He was saying, I'm going to hit a ball out to left field, and Chuck Nasty is a left-handed hitter. That means he's hitting the ball as a home run, opposite field, and he did it. He hasn't done that all spring. He hadn't done it all last year. It was something he's been working on. Trying to drive the ball opposite field, and today he hits a home run. That's great.
Okay, for those 3 people out there that don't know who we're talking about, it's Charlie Blackmon.
Oh, yeah,
folks.
yeah. He's the guy with the beard that plays center field.
The beard. But we had walked away.
And he was screaming at us.
He's yelling, Spilly, look, I did it. Sergio Santos in relief of Chad Gaudin. We have not heard what the injury was to Gaudin. Actually, you know what? Is that still? It's John Adams.
Mike Adams.
Mike Adams, the former, Mike Adams, the former Padre and Texas Ranger. And he's now in the Dodgers. They're trying to rebuild that bullpen. Kenley Jansen's going to be out initially. So Santos finished up the last inning. Have not gotten word as to why Gaudin had to leave. Well, Mike Adams had some good years in San Diego.
Man, he was one of the tougher pitchers you could face. Arms flying at you. He kind of throws across his body. Has a great slider. He's going to throw a fastball in right here. Likes to throw that fastball in, follow it up with the slider away. As a right-handed hitter, he was as uncomfortable of an at-bat you could possibly have.
Kind of arms and legs flying around.
Yeah, you don't like that.
And that brushes McHenry. Catchers never get out of the way.
No, they like to get hit.
They'll always wear it.
Yeah, they like it. Well, McHenry does a good job. Adams trying to go back inside. And there's what Drew talks about. He doesn't mind. Just take it off the belt.
And Mac asking right now. Okoye says, is it a Koye or is it a Koye or
he says, I don't care. I'm just up here.
Kyle Parker at the plate. Kyle caught looking his first time up. Mac's going, dude, I'm a catcher. Where do you think I'm going?
They want to see if Kyle Parker is going to show bunt right there. Sometimes guys can show their hand a little bit too soon. Juan Uribe is far off the grass at third base. He's not expecting Kyle Parker to drop a bunt right here.
Kyle Parker's not expecting Kyle Parker to drop a bunt. And he lines a base hit to right. See if McHenry can go first to third. And this is a throw that is offline and great base running by Parker. He saw the trajectory of that throw and never broke stride. Bad baseball by the Dodgers. Good baseball by the Rockies as they take advantage. 2 in scoring position with nobody out.
Well, first off, Kyle Parker does a phenomenal job hitting behind the runner, allows the ball to get deep. There's that short stroke that Kyle's been working on. But right here, as a base runner, Kyle's looking at the throw, sees that it's high. There's no chance for the shortstop to cut that off. And Kyle's just going to keep running, keeping his head up. Uribe's going to try to get him at second, and he's safe. Great base running. That's what you call heads-up base running.
You take the double play out of order. As that throw is airmailed by Heisey.
Well, that's a good, solid baseball play. That shows baseball IQ. And for a former football player, that kind of comes into question. Does he have the baseball instincts? Right there, that's a baseball instinct play all the way around.
And Nick Hundley, who drove a double to the base of the center field wall his first time up. That's John Garcia now, not Heisey in right field. A little early for changes, especially in a split squad road game for a guy who's trying to make the club at Chris Heisey.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect him to come out after one at bat. Or 2 at bats. Here's where Jeff Bridich is talking about doing the little things. You have an 0-2 count. Hundley is going to just try to put the ball in play. He got the infield back. A ground ball to anywhere scores an RBI.
You get the ball in play at bat, right?
Get the ball in play at bat. This is where the veteran Nick Hundley, he knows the game. He knows what he's trying to do. He's been trying to hit the ball opposite field for the first couple pitches to move him over. Now you're just in survival mode. You're not trying to hit the ball to second base.
You take a deep breath when you get the count back even when you're in a ditch 0-2. Now it's a little different AB at 2-2 for Nick Hundley.
Well, you're still not trying to get too aggressive, but you're feeling more confident that you can. Yeah, I've seen the slider in the dirt. I've seen the fastball in. What are you going to get me out with? What do you think you can get me out with?
Went slider, and that was spit on, as they say in hitting circles, by Nick Hundley, and it's 3-2.
Great at bat. He's fighting. He's taking some tough pitches. 3-2 count. You got first base open. You got Trevor Story on deck. These are one of these pitching situations where you can psych yourself out, say, well, maybe he's going to throw the slider, when in fact he's going to throw a fastball in.
Up the middle, that'll get more than one in. It'll bring both around. Great at bat for Nick Hundley. He just tied it up with a 2-run single. Boy, what an at bat behind 0-2.
That's what you get when you have a veteran hitter like Nick Hundley, former catcher, or he is a catcher, but you see how he shortened it up, didn't have much of a leg kick, just trying to put the ball in play. Gets a fastball a little bit out over the plate, singles into center field, and that scores 2.
So Trevor Story, who drove in the Rockies' first run, it was Hundley. Hundley doubled off the center field wall, then Trevor Story, about 20 feet to the right of center field, hit the base of the wall and had himself a triple. One of the other things I always look at, and I know you do, Spilly, once you became a veteran player, is who are the matchups? Or is it a double-A guy hitting against a double-A guy, or was it a quality at bat against an established big league guy? And obviously Nick Hundley's a veteran big league guy, but you know, for Story right now, he's facing a high-quality late-inning arm in Mike Adams. This isn't, you know, another guy who's trying to climb the ladder in the Dodgers system.
No, and Mike, for in his defense, is trying to get himself healthy to where he was back a couple years ago. But you're right. You're dealing with a veteran of baseball who's had a lot of success on 2 organizations, had no success with Philadelphia, but he knows how to pitch, and Story's taking good swings on him. Gear up for the 2015 at your local Rockies dugout store, the place for all things Rockies. Let's see if Emerson Jimenez can do what he did last at bat. So far, I've been really impressed with that.
There goes a runner, a little hit and run, and fouls it off. He lined a single to left his first time up. You like him, huh?
I like him for being a guy that's only played low A. To have the approach that he's shown so far and the savvy in the infield, he's been impressive to me. He's only 20 years old, Drew.
I remember that year.
It was a long time ago for you, bud.
Not that long ago.
Your nose is getting longer.
Seems like a fortnight ago, Billy.
I just saw Ubaldo's no-hitter is going to be shown on TV tomorrow night. Might sit around and watch that one. I watched it live. Might as well watch it on replay.
It was one of the great nights in Rockies history. And unfortunately for Ubaldo, he continues to struggle this spring with Baltimore. He was kept off the postseason roster last year. Signed a 4-year, $50 million deal in leaving Cleveland a year ago. And he has struggled. Nobody can seem to figure out as to what has happened to Ubaldo Jimenez.
Yeah, even when I was with him in Cleveland in 2012, the front office was asking what I saw, and mechanically he doesn't look the same. He has a lot of moving parts, but he just didn't look right. He hasn't looked right to me for years.
Now, Drew Stubbs, literally, I don't think has swung the bat today. He's been called out on strikes twice. He's had a really good spring. A couple home runs, came into the ball game hitting .333. Drew last year hit .289 with 15 home runs in part-time duty.
Well, sometimes players don't like to be called platoon players, and Charlie Blackmon and Drew Stubbs, Charlie, of course, hitting the home run today. It's nice when you can give a teammate a day off. It actually helps the group when Drew can face a tough lefty. Give a day off to Charlie, or go in and play left field for Dickerson or for Cargo. Makes as a collective group the batting averages stay higher. stay healthier longer. Drew had a fantastic season last year. Really reestablished himself with all the tools that Drew Stubbs has. People have been saying this guy should be stealing 20 bags a year, hitting 20 homers.
It's like Home Depot, man.
Yeah, he's got every tool.
He got every tool. He led the Rockies last year with a .328 average against left-handed pitching. Mark Stout has more. Mark?
I talked to Drew Stubbs earlier today, and I said that to him. You know, was it different being a role player than a starter? Because he said, I've played as many as 158 games, but he said he adapted to it. Walt Weiss said the same thing in his press conference today when I posed the same question. He said, nope, he's been a starter, and he's a perfect fit for this team and for Coors Field in particular, defensively and offensively.
Well, this time he goes down swinging, so the Rockies get even at 4 on the base hit up the middle by Nick Hundley, scoring McHenry and Kyle Parker. Here's our game summary. 4-4 game. Dodgers got off to a 4-0 lead. The Rockies have battled back. Jhoulys Chacin gave up all 4 runs, 3 innings plus, 7 hits. Obviously not real sharp. Velocity still not where we're accustomed to seeing it. Threw some good breaking balls. Started the game out by striking out Jimmy Rollins. He got Jimmy a couple of times, so he continues to grow toward getting back to where he was a couple of years ago. Howie Kendrick's at the plate. Chad Bettis induces a fly ball to center field. And that'll be the first time Kendrick's retired. He had a single and a double, a couple of runs scored for the former Angel. Now 10 years in the big leagues. Remember when he came up? Now, what's happened, man? It's been a decade.
We've been playing against each other from Salt Lake when he was with the Angels, playing AAA against each other all the way through the big leagues. And you got to love an approach that Howie Kendrick has. He's never changed. When you're good at something, staying inside the baseball, there are times where you have the ebbs and flows of the season. Guys are going to pound you in. You're not getting your hits. You're having a really rough month. You want to change. Howie Kendrick's never changed. He's always kept that inside-out approach. And there's a reason why he's played 10 years in the major leagues.
Andre Ethier, 2-run home run in the first inning. Monster shot to right center field about halfway up the hill. It's hard to hit green grass today if you do hit a bomb.
There's a lot of people out there. I don't know what the Dodgers are going to do with Ethier. They've looked at his defensive stats, and he's declined a lot offensively as well. But you have Yasiel Puig, Jock Peterson. He's having as good of a spring training as anybody. Young 21-year-old center fielder.
Hitting .433.
Is that good?
That's a good average. That's a good average on the Tuesday night softball league.
When you're owed the amount of money that you have, especially with Andre Ethier. There was a great quote. Jay Howell or J.P. Howell was talking about.
Jay Howell was Thurston Howell's brother. J.P. Howell's the
There
pitcher.
was a Jay Howell on the Dodgers. He pitched on the '88 World Series team. That's where I remember him.
He's a CU buff, Jay Howell.
But J.P. Howell says about Andrew Friedman. Friedman was with Tampa Bay. He says a contract does not guarantee your spot on the team. And when you're on an organization where that's the truth and that's how they're going to treat you, it makes it's competition. It doesn't matter if you are in your first year, like Jock Peterson, or if you've been in the game for a bunch of years. Your contract's not going to define if you're going to get to play or not.
And Andre Ethier, again, being the competitor that he is, and some of the things that he has said, has indicated he would prefer to get traded.
Of course.
And the Dodgers are not committed to that because they're one of those rare teams out there financially. They can afford to pay him, $15, $17, $18 million a year to be a fourth outfielder. There are obviously not very many clubs that are going to do that. This is in the air to left field, playable for Parker off the bat of Van Slyke. 2 outs. Really aggressive approach from Chad Bettis. The fastball's got a lot of life. Very impressive first inning when he came in with the traffic also, Spilly.
Yeah, and he has a little two-seam run. The changeup has been a great improvement over last year. And when he was coming out of the bullpen last year, his struggles were mighty. And not being able to command his fastball, couldn't set up that changeup. And there's times when you're coming out of the bullpen, guys just want to throw as hard as they possibly can. For Bettis, I think being able to settle down and just trust his stuff, maybe not reach so far back to throw 95, 96 miles an hour. It allows that sinker to move, gives him an ability to now I can throw my changeup. He's going to benefit from being a starter again, I think.
You watch Juan Uribe, because you're a student, especially offensively, of the game. You would not teach so many of the things that Juan does offensively. He steps in the bucket a little bit. He falls on his backside,
yep.
Right? Yet his hand-eye coordination and I guess athleticism with the bat has allowed him to have an outstanding big league career for a long period of time.
He is, and he's dangerous. You throw him a hanging slider, he's going to hit it a mile. And when you talk about guys being in situations that you want him up hitting, Juan Uribe, there's an RBI, 2 outs. Uribe's been getting it done. Sees he gets a fastball inside, steps all the way towards almost the Dodgers dugout, and is still able to put a good swing on it.
He is strong, too.
Strong like bull.
That is a strong man.
We were saying Yasmani Tomas, who we'll get a chance of seeing tomorrow with the Diamondbacks, Cuban kid. They're built the exact same way. Of course, Tomas's hands aren't as good as Juan Uribe's.
Two outs, Ethier at first. 1-2 count on Uribe. .94 on that fastball.
It's a good pitch. He's not afraid to use it. I say go back to it. Gas him up. And Uribe's a great fastball hitter. For him to be late on 2 of them so far, Uribe's probably thinking about the changeup.
Glove down usually indicates a breaking ball, or changeup was a breaking ball. It's 2-2.
Good battle. This is what I like to see. This is part of the game and part of spring training where as being an evaluator, being a teammate, watching the game now from our position, I want to see what is your out pitch. You have a guy on the ropes. How are you going to get him out? Are you going to strike him out? That I want to know, can you elevate your fastball? Is your changeup going to be the only pitch that you can get a strikeout on? Because if that's the case, then the hitters will look for that pitch.
Well, Uribe's going to win this battle. A broken bat, soft single to left field. 2 on for Garcia.
3-hit day for Uribe.
He's defying his age. Again, he'll be 36. I think it's earlier I said Monday. I forgot what day it was. He'll be 36 tomorrow. Remember a couple years ago they thought he was done. Then he went out and hit 311 last year.
Yeah, he was done with the Giants, and then just found himself again. Was part of that World Series 2010 team, and he was a hero in San Francisco.
He also was part of the Gold Glove conversation legitimately.
Yep.
So last year at third base, won by Nolan Arenado again.
Get a pinch hitter.
No, Garcia came in for
yeah.
Heisey defensively. Right. This is John Garcia up from the minor leagues. What do you got on him, Spilly?
Right-hand hitter, double ear flap.
Holds his hands low.
He's off on the changeup. So again, same situation for Bettis. What are you going to do to get this guy out? Do you have a pitch to strike a hitter out at the plate? And if so, what is it?
1-2. Not going to strike him out, but he's going to get a fly ball to right field. Carr goes out there. He's got it. And that's all for the Dodgers in the 5th inning. There was a walk and a hit, 2 men left aboard. Rockies 4, Dodgers 4. We welcome you back, Spilly. You were asking earlier, those are flowers on the end of that cactus there. Spring training continues, 2015 Cactus League style. Rockies and Dodgers will battle all season long in the National League West. And we're 4-4 as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning with Ryan Spilborghs and Mark Stout, who's situated by the dugout. I'm Drew Goodman. Rockies here in the 5th will have Cargo leading off, Nolan Arenado, Matt McBride. Cargo the last 2 days has batted second. And you may recall that Walt subscribing to something that some other managers have gone to, where you'll have an elite hitter, one of your typical middle of the order guys, a 3-hole type of hitter, batting second. Michael Kadire, before the injuries, was batting in that 2 spot last year, coming off a batting championship. And we've seen Dickerson in there in the spring. We've seen Cargo the last couple of days in there.
Tulowitzki's been there a couple times.
So we'll see how it plays out during the regular season. We haven't seen the complete A lineup for the Rockies yet. That will come, and it typically does, in the final week to 10 days of the season. Of spring training, I should say. They'll roll that out a couple, 3 times in front of opening day in Milwaukee.
Well, I don't mind having your elite hitters hitting second in the lineup. Just because you're hitting second doesn't mean you have to hit and run or drop drag bunts, do all these different things. You could still be the hitter that you are. And to face a Cargo second or a Dickerson second or a Tulowitzki second in the lineup right after you face the leadoff hitter as a pitcher, you're like, all right, I'm already having to grind my through the lineup, and I'm just facing the second batter.
This is Dustin McGowan.
An old friend of the Rockies just sent me a text message. He wants to know, Drew, is your back sore? Matt Holliday was sending a text saying that you've been carrying me along today.
Well, no, you know what? You're doing great, buddy.
You hear that, Holliday?
As much as I would like to take another shot, there's going to be ample opportunity.
Oh, you have the whole time.
And I take enough shots off the air, so I figured, you know what, I'm going to be kind right
but
now.
I'll rub your back. So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you.
Why is Matty not doing baseball things right now?
Because I think he loves baseball. You know, he always follows us.
They're 2 hours later there.
Yeah, he's already played. He took his one at bat and shaked it to the locker room. He's sitting in the video room right now, probably in Jupiter, watching and judging us.
He's probably moving large buildings in the weight room. Three and two on Cargo. And this is lobbed into left center field. It's going to drop. And Cargo has himself another 2-hit day. A couple hits yesterday. So a leadoff single, go ahead run on. Dustin McGowan will now face Nolan Arenado. Dustin this spring, those are the numbers.
Well, you remember Dustin McGowan with Toronto Blue Jays a couple years ago, nearly no-hit the Rockies. It was Jeff Baker that broke it up. He went 8 2/3. That was probably one of the most dominant pitching performances I as a player have ever seen.
I remember watching that game, and this is going to go all the way to the top of the screen. Cargo's going to try to go first to third on Ellis. Out at third base. You know what, though?
He's having fun.
He's having fun, and there's no way the legs, the knee would have allowed him to even think about doing that a year ago. It's a mindset thing, and
well, and Cargo's running hard the whole way, which is great. You want to see our superstars playing the game hard. Diving. He's probably pretty close. If we had the red flag, maybe we'd throw it. Wow, that's close.
That's really close. That's why you saw that reaction. You know what? Walt got out of his chair, watch this, and he waited for Cargo, gave him a fist bump. Listen, don't make the first or third out at third, right?
No.
He loves what he just saw.
He loves it because it's showing the guys in the dugout right now that this is how the Rockies are going to play. Bridich mentioned it to us. We want to be aggressive. The Rockies want to be more aggressive. That is an aggressive play.
That is a check swing.
That is not an aggressive swing. McGowan's always had a great arm. He used to throw 95 to 98 miles an hour as a starting pitcher.
Yeah, it's picking up on what you said. I remember that outing, and I thought this guy's going to be a 20-game winner. I mean, his stuff was filthy. He won 12 in 07, but he's battled injuries.
He's had a lot of injuries. A lot of injuries. And you always feel, look, nobody ever feels bad for anybody in any sort of professional sport. That's the nature of the game. But when you have an arm like Dustin McGowan and the potential is there, even as a competitor, I want to see you reach your full potential. I want to see you be healthy.
And Nolan went around, so McGowan gets the strikeout. 2 gone. That'll bring up Matt McBride. Pop out and a ground out this afternoon for McBride. Clayton Kershaw pitched yesterday. The premier hurler in baseball, back-to-back Cy Youngs. He's won the last 3 ERA titles. He got hit with a broken bat line drive. The baseball hit him, not the broken bat, off the stick of Andy Perino. Now watch this. It was like a changeup coming back at him, and he got hit in the face. Now, not only is he a great pitcher, as we all know, he's a pretty tough cat because he went on to face 9 more hitters, retired 8 of them, went his full 5 innings as scheduled. And then this morning, very early in the morning, he was at the dentist because he had cracked 2 teeth. One was extracted, one was repaired. He has to have further dental work. He's not going to miss a start. And for all those Dodger fans that were holding their collective breath, he's just fine.
A.J. Ellis had a great quote. He said, "I thought it was his gold glove that chipped his tooth."
1-2 on McBride. There's the affable Donnie Mattingly. Doesn't get enough credit in my mind for the job he's done with a club that had a lot of personalities. I put that in quotation. And some clubhouse unrest the last year or two. And he navigated those waters well. They've won back-to-back division titles. They're expected to be in the thick of the hunt in the NL West again, obviously.
And no matter how good your talent is, you still have to compete as a group. You cannot just roll out and throw the bats on the field and say, we're better than you, and expect to win. You have to play as a team, and Don somehow found a way to rally that group to play for each other.
Billy, how much do you think his background in New York helped him in working that situation in L.A. the last couple of years?
The quotes prove that he says what he thinks. He speaks from his heart. He tells the truth to his team. From the guys that I've talked to, they will stand behind Don Mattingly. They love that he's been honest with them. He doesn't go in the papers or the media and say something different that he hasn't said to them.
Uribe on the backhand with the long throw to get McBride, and that's all for the Rockies in the 5th. We turn the page to inning number 6. Rockies 4, Dodgers 4 on a gorgeous March afternoon at Salt River Fields. We're in Scottsdale, Arizona. At 4 as we go to the top of the 6th inning. Chad Bettis continuing on. A.J. Ellis coming up. Some changes for the Rockies we'll get to momentarily. But right now, Mark Stout with the Rockies Gold Glove third baseman. Mark?
Yeah, a couple questions for Nolan Arenado. I wanted to ask you about when you're at third and Nick Hundley is catching, is there a difference the way you set up, the way he calls the game?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say so much setup. It's more of he could just controls the game a lot differently than I've seen catchers. He slows the game down. It seems like he handles pitches. He just knows how to. He frames really well. He does those little things as a catcher that you really need, and he's been doing he's been doing a great job.
How about at the plate? Is there anything you're working on in particular this spring? You increased your homers and runs and ribbies last year, even though you didn't play the whole year.
Yeah, everything. trying to work on, just seeing the pitches, trying to get in better counts. Obviously I had some bad at-bats today, but, I feel like I got my swing off. I feel good up there. It's just a matter of, staying on top of the ball. Just little things here and there, just little tweaks. Always, always reminding myself, always working, just keep working on the little things.
Still time before opening day?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'm not too worried about it, but, as a competitor, you just want to do well. But it was good. It was a good day.
Thanks, Nolan.
No problem.
All right, guys.
All right, Mark, thank you. A.J. Ellis at the plate. 2 balls and a strike, and A.J. hits a pop-up on the right side. Better angle for the second baseman typically, and well done by Trevor Story. 1 out, and we'll get to those changes we were alluding to a moment ago. Nolan, since he was just conversing with Mark, no longer on the field, obviously. Jason Langfells is now at third base, up from minor league camp. And Raimel Tapia, who is a really well thought of young outfielder in the Rockies organization. This kid's got, we talked about a toolbox being filled. He's got all the tools. He can run, he can throw, he can hit and hit for power. He's in right field now. This is another pop-up.
Well, in Nashville, they had Tapia, they had David Dahl. David Dahl is sitting inside the Rockies dugout. He'll come in hopefully later today so we can see him as well. But Tapia, young player, hits the ball, sprays it to all fields. They say he has a great approach. More importantly, he can play multiple positions. David Dahl is the future center fielder at some point in the Rockies organization. And then Jason Langfelds, Eastern Kentucky University. You love that.
EKU. That's what we call them when we're in Eastern Kentucky. We just say EKU.
EKU. Do they have a team in the bracket this year or no?
The team used to be there a lot is the Hilltoppers, but that's WKU.
And the Hilltoppers have the best mascot. It's a giant red trash can. Have you ever seen the Hilltoppers mascot?
No.
I'm a mascot connoisseur. I love mascots.
You have a lot of oddities to you. I didn't realize that was one of them.
I got a picture of the Hilltopper.
What is it? A big red garbage can? What'd you say?
Yeah, it's a big red garbage can.
So which mascot wins, the big red garbage can or the Wildcat? So they got to play Kentucky once in a while.
Yeah, the garbage can.
Garbage can over the Wildcat, really, even this year. Jimmy Rollins hits the ball pretty well toward Kyle Parker. He gets a good jump on it. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Chad Bettis, who has pitched very, very well this afternoon. Middle of 6, we're tied at 4. .4 the score as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Rockies are back in action tomorrow afternoon on Root Sports against the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're co-tenants here at Salt River Field. The Rockies will send Kyle Hendricks to the mound. That's tomorrow, 2 Mountain, right here on Root Sports, your home for Rockies baseball all season long. There's 35, Chad Bettis in the dugout. He has pitched with good tempo on the mound, Spilly, and with great success so far.
He's been working quick, and you want to see that. You want to see coming out of the pen, and whether he becomes a starter with the Rockies rotation or not, the tempo, how you keep that tempo, especially if you're pounding the strike zone, makes your defense so much more involved in the game.
Mike McHenry, hit by a pitch in the 4th inning, would come around to score on a 2-run base hit by Nick Hundley. Hundley has been one of the offensive stars for the Rockies today. A double, a run scored in the 3rd, and a 2-run single in the 4th. And McHenry misses that delivery. 2nd inning of work from Dustin McGowan. Chad Gaudin went 2+ innings, had to leave with an undisclosed injury. Sergio Santos finished up that inning. Mike Adams an inning. And now McGowan. Rockies got 2 runs in the 4th off of Mike Adams.
Still a lot of pitchers the Dodgers brought in this offseason that have had quite an injury history. Brett Anderson being the former Rocky with the back issues. Brandon McCarthy, they signed him from the Yankees after the Diamondbacks, I think they released him. He's had injuries throughout his career. McGowan being a guy, another one coming back from injury. Mike Adams. So as far as being a fan and seeing the Rockies competing against a Dodgers team that, whoa, hey, it's the Dodgers, look at all their salary. There's a lot of question marks, in my opinion, on this team, especially when it comes to that starting rotation where Hyun-Jin Ryu is going to potentially be on the disabled list. Zach Greinke's gotten injections in his elbow.
They have to be concerned about Ryu because he's dealing with the shoulder again, and last year several times he was on the DL with a shoulder ailment. When he's right, really good.
He's great. But as we've seen with one of our own Rockies pitchers with Chacin, that shoulder is not something that he can mess around with.
Off the end of the bat, this may drop, and it will for Kyle Parker. Another base hit for Parker. He had a couple yesterday. He's got 2 more today. He's making greater contact, far greater contact than he did a year ago.
Well, that's a pitch that Kyle's been swinging and missing. He's always had that high strikeout rate, but that's a slider he gets fooled on down and away. He's able to punch it into right field. Adam Law just replacing that second baseman Howie Kendrick makes a great effort, just misses it. I'm encouraged seeing how Kyle Parker has been swinging the bat. And for Kyle, getting that swing where he's able to see the ball longer, you can see it. He's getting more and more into his legs. That is going to trim down the amount of strikeouts he has because you can see the ball. You can see the slider. You're not having to cheat. Carlos Gonzalez last year wasn't able to sit on that backside, so you're literally cheating every at bat. What is the guy going to throw? You're having to guess, and there's nothing wrong being a guess hitter, but doing it every single pitch.
Tough to succeed long-term doing that, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of hitters I can think of off the top of my head. Manny Ramirez being one of them. Truly a great guess hitter. Will sit on a pitch the entire at bat. You may throw him 3 straight fastballs down the middle. If he's looking for the slider, he will not swing.
Low throw, but they'll still turn it over on Nick Hundley. So a 3-6-3 double play ends the inning. We're tied up at 4 as we go to the 7th inning. Salt River Fields, beautiful day in March. name earlier. He's now in center field for Drew Stubbs in a 4-4 ball game. Let's go to the dugout. Chad Bettis' work is done, and Mark Stout has grabbed him. Mark?
Chad is here. We were just talking about him, relieving being a starter, but we heard Jeff Bridich say today, they told you in the offseason the mindset now is to be a starter again.
Correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's what they, they kind of gave me peace of mind going into the offseason, and not only that, but to be expected what to train for. So, I really appreciate that.
When did that happen? What time of the offseason?
It was really early.
So you had a plan, and you were able to alter whatever you maybe had planned?
Right, yeah. So, ended up moving out here, so that helps, coming up here, working out at the facility every day in the offseason is awesome. But yeah, coming into the offseason with a plan, they told me in September. So it was awesome.
So with that in mind, how did that transition to the Hill for today's outing?
It's just getting back for a feel for everything, and building your arm strength up, and that's really the key. Which
pitch are you throwing best now? And I know it's only now.
Right. I would say probably my sinker and changeup are probably right now my best pitches.
Has the changeup improved over time?
It's more consistent, so it's more effective.
Nice outing. Thanks for the time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Guys?
Yeah, it was a good outing. Thank you, Mark. Really good outing for Chad Bettis.
Great outing. And he said the sinker's been working well for him in his changeup. He's throwing it more consistently. And having that secondary pitch, when you cannot just throw a fastball, having a second pitch changes the approach from the hitter.
I thought the one he struck out Carl Crawford with was the best he threw.
It was the best one he threw all day, yes.
This is Robbie Garvey at the plate against Chris Rusing. And he kind of slaps at it. This is going to be a tough play. Nice play at short by Jimenez.
Best pure shortstop in the Rockies organization as far as the prospects go. And being 20 years old, see how he runs up, catches the ball in the quick release. What I like about him is that arm strength. He's thrown from different angles so far. The 3-6-1 double play, being able to lead the pitcher. I think out of all the guys we've seen so far, the young minor league guys being here, he is thoroughly impressed.
This is Adam Law. Law getting his first at bat. He's at second now for Kendrick.
Rusin, I had the chance of seeing in the inner squad. Very deceptive. Has a cutter he'll throw inside to right-handed batters. He'll also throw a sinker inside that'll run back over the plate. He used it several times to strike some guys out.
And Parker makes the play.
Opening day on Rooftop and Rock Pile tickets go on sale at next Saturday at 10 a.m. Parking lots open at 8 a.m. with wristband distribution starting at 9:30. Rooftop party from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. with drink specials. Come with the NCAA tournament and win Rockies opening weekend tickets and other prizes.
Andre Ethier with 2 outs. Ethier's had a nice afternoon. 2-run home run in the first, a ground out, and then he drew a walk in the 5th. And this is rolled foul. Talk about that Dodger rotation, Spilly. It starts with Kershaw. It's always a pretty good place to start. You follow that up with Zach Greinke, that's really good. In fact, it's the best 1-2 in baseball, you got to figure. 83-37, the Dodgers record the last 2 days. That hit Ethier. Their record personally, 69-24 combined in those 2 years. But as a club, 83-37. The issue is going to be, as you watch this Knicks Andre Ethier, I guess just got some of the cloth on the jersey. After that, Ryu, we've documented, he's not healthy consistently. They've added Brandon McCarthy.
Question mark.
Out of Colorado Springs. Ethier's going to come out. And they've added Brett Anderson, who has a lot of ability. The Rockies know that. Unfortunately for Brett, it's always something. And it's not often related to a happening on the field. I mean, he had back surgery last year, and he's had all kinds of different ailments. You wish him well, but you got 3 question marks after the big 2.
And guys, when you have injury history, just like the Rockies have with their star shortstop and left field, or right field now, it'll always come into question. Until they can play an entire full season healthy, McGowan, Ryu, and Anderson are going to be question marks. That it's going to be throughout the entire season for the Dodgers. And you can't count on Kershaw making 33 starts, and you can't count on Zach Greinke making all 33 starts. And if it's not if and when, but if those guys aren't making all those starts, are the Dodgers as good as people think they are?
And you have some age, let's be honest, in the infield. This is a terrific organization, and they have a lot of big-name players, and they've been really good. But if you're assessing them, you got a 36-year-old third baseman, you have a 35-year-old shortstop, you have a 31-year-old second baseman, you have a 30-plus-year-old first baseman. Great players, but they're all, Gonzalez, I mean, he led baseball in RBIs last year. I mean, he's still in probably the backside of his prime. Kendricks maybe still, partially in his prime, backside of it. Jimmy Rollins' prime's in the past. Uribe's coming off a great year, but you got to figure he's past his prime. You're going to rely heavily on great young talent, Jock Peterson.
And the Dodgers do have some guys eventually coming up through the pipeline as far as pitchers go, but they're still years away. There's a Julio Urias, kid signed out of Mexico, ranked 2nd in the Dodgers as a prospect, 93 to 97 miles an hour, but he's 3-4 years away.
They got an interesting decision on Alex Guerrero out of Cuba a year ago. They paid him a ton of money, and he played in the minor leagues. He can't be sent back down. He's having a really good spring, but he can't be sent back down without his okay, and I don't think he's going to okay it.
No, and in Dodgers' defense, they don't have a position for him. He said he's a shortstop. He's played shortstop, hasn't done well. They have him trying to play second. They have him in the outfield. That's an interesting question mark for that bench. Jacob Turner's done great in that utility role for the Dodgers. So when you have a guy that's supposed to make $15 million or else, puts the Dodgers in a funky spot.
Lars Anderson, by the way, is the pinch runner for Andre Ethier at first. Rooston with a 3-2 count. And this will stay fair, and an easy play from Matt McBride. So Devin Ahart was retired. 4-4 game. Larry Walker's around the next few days, back in uniform with his old friend Walt Weiss helping out, looking at guys' swings, just keeping everybody in a good mood, because Larry's good at that. Nathan Reedy tweets out, watching Rockies Dodgers on Root Sports Rocky Mountain. And it's good to see Larry's got an interesting handle on his Twitter account. Right, you know what? I was talking to Walk. He's got a cabin in like in all 50 states.
He
some
does?
remote lake that gets no phone service, no television service, and he just chills at his various cabins.
Well, I'm surprised Justin Morneau isn't sitting on his lap right now. I mean, Justin, he wears number 33 because of Larry Walker. Fellow Canadian, he's a huge fan of the Rockies when he was younger. Absolutely adores Larry Walker.
Yeah, it's twofold for
that
Morneau.
Is that Morneau's Twitter handle?
It's for Patrick Waugh
and
Larry Walker.
And Walker. So I'm assuming Morneau's Twitter handle is I love Larry Walker 33, but my name is Justin Morneau.
There is one of my favorite people, Rick Matthews, to the right of
Hall of Famer.
Yep, he went into the Indian River Community College Hall of Fame in his home state of Iowa. Rick has done and worn so many hats for the Rockies organization. He still throws the best BP in the game, right?
Yep, I cannot say his name on air, but it is sweet. Barry Enright, we've seen him before, former Diamondbacks pitcher.
Yeah, kind of an interesting delivery.
Good sinker baller, little slider.
This is deep in the hole. Story's going to easily beat it. So a leg hit for Story, who had a triple earlier in the ball game. And the Rockies have the leadoff man on, the potential go-ahead run here in the 7th inning.
The Story gets fooled on a pitch right here, and he puts the ball in play. You can see it's in that 6 hole where Daniel Mayora has to throw it far down the line, and you can see run through the bag. You want to kind of look back to see if the ball goes past you, but Trevor Story does a good job.
Emerson Jimenez has been the shortstop throughout the afternoon. 1 for 2, had an RBI single to left back in the 3rd inning. And Jimenez gets a great bunt down. He stay on the bag?
Yes, he did. He's done everything today. Everything you could ask for a baseball player to do, he has done it.
He did a great job there. That's a gorgeous bunt.
Great bunt.
And it put a lot of heat on the defense because he runs well. If it's not a perfect throw from Henneke at 3rd, you're talking about 1st and 2nd. So the go-ahead run at 2nd in Trevor Story. And the Rockies will send to the plate David Dahl.
He's been ranked in the top 3 for Rockies prospects in Baseball America, Purple Row. You look at MLB.com. Everyone is very high on this guy, a natural center fielder. They have him as a 5-tool player. He can run, can throw, can hit for power. Last year, spent some time in Asheville. Spent some time with Modesto. He got moved up. Great season.
Yeah, last year in Asheville, he had 309 with 18 stolen bases. He had 10 home runs, drove in 41, 33 doubles, and 392 at bats. Think about that. 33 doubles and less than 400 at bats. And then, as you mentioned, he went on to Modesto, and he played well there. 267 batting average, had 120 at bats, 4 home runs, 14 ribbies. He stole another 3 bases there without being caught. That cuts inside. He's he's an Alabama native. He's from Birmingham. He's not only one of the top 3 prospects in the Rockies organization, he's among the top 75 prospects in baseball.
Probably start the year off in New Britain. That's weird to say. We're used to saying in Tulsa.
And folks, I'm going to say Tulsa probably a couple times before it becomes.
I think George Frazier is going to say Tulsa.
Yeah, George is going to say more than any of us, right? George one of the primo scouts for the Rockies, just go when he drive from his house over to the ballpark. He can still do that. He's not going to see Rockies prospects anymore. We're playing the Eastern League in New Britain, just outside of Hartford. And a good pitch by Enright. He went off speed and he strikes out David Dahl. 2 outs. And that'll bring up another one of the top prospects. The Rockies organization is starting to stockpile pitching prospects, position player prospects. This is Raimel Tapia. And Tapia, another one of those kids that has a ton of ability. He can impact the game in a number of ways. So Raimel at the plate.
We had a chance to see Tapia yesterday, and quiet approach at the plate. He wants to hit the ball the opposite field. He
drives this ball to right center field. That'll get it done. And the Rockies will take a 5-4 lead on an RBI single from Tapia. He brings home Trevor Story. Rockies trailed in this game at one juncture 4-0.
Well, you love seeing guys that have no fear coming up from the minor leagues and swinging first pitch. That ball fooled him off the end of the bat, but you can see that is a short, compact swing. He's able to get the ball, the barrel kind of to the ball, but it punches out in the right field. He was running hard out of the box. If there was a bad throw, Tapia would be standing on second right now.
And this ball's driven to deep center field. And off the very top of the wall for Jason Langfells. He's going to drive in Tapia. It is 6-4. He's a few feet from hitting that out of here to dead central.
It was over that green mesh, whatever you call the padded wall. That hit the center field batter's eye. That ball is hit 430 feet to center field. Gets on his backside, drives it out to center field. That's a great swing. And look at Tapia. As soon as he sees it, starts to go pick up the third base coach and then just flies.
He looks like a skinny high school kid, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's not.
Tapia last year, 9 home runs, 72 driven in, hit 326 in Asheville, and he had 33 stolen bases. Langfells at second. And a strike on Matt McBride. EKU, baby, huh?
There you go, Eastern Kentucky representing. I just love seeing it when a young batter is able to not try to pull the ball, especially in a big league game. It's the second at bat this spring in a big league game, and not trying to do too much. That was a great hack.
Last year in Tulsa, Langfells 307 at bats, hit just 4 home runs, but he looked like got on his backside there. Looked like he's a guy who can drive the ball out of the ballpark. He hit that a long way.
It was his second year in AA. The year before, he had 13 homers. So you wonder if he was battling an injury last year at some point.
Pretty good sized kid, about 6'2", 210. 2-strike count on Matt McBride. Pop out, couple of ground outs this afternoon for McBride. Strike 3, and that's it for McBride. In the inning, though, the Rockies take a 6-4 lead, and it was the kids involved: Story, Tapia, and Langfells. The Dodgers 11-8. Again, they were down 4-0 pretty early in the game. Relive some of your favorite Rockies moments on Root Sports. Stick around after tomorrow's game against the Diamondbacks for Sunday Night Classics. Watch Ubaldo Jimenez toss the first and only no-hitter in Rockies history against the Atlanta Braves back in 2010. And again, that's tomorrow after the game on Root Sports. Chris Russin's second inning of work. Breaking ball hit through the right side, a base hit. A base hit for number 98. We'll have a name for you moment. That's Lars. That's our man, Lars Anderson.
There you go.
You can do that in spring training. You can pinch run and hit the next inning. You gotta love it, right?
You gotta love that.
Yeah. Move around.
Anything goes at this point of the game.
We failed to mention a couple innings ago, Audrey Perez is behind the plate for the Rockies. John Garcia. John moved into right field in the middle innings for Chris Heisey.
Yep. Had the errant throw for Kyle Parker to take second base on.
How about all the changes in the Dodgers front office? Ned Colletti's a special advisor. He's actually doing some television work. This could be two. Let's see if the Rockies could turn it. There's one, there's two. Well done.
Nice.
Two outs. Andrew Friedman was lured with large dollars from Tampa Bay, where he did such a marvelous job with not a lot of financial resources. Farhan Zaidi from San Francisco. From Oakland becomes the general manager. He was working for Billy Beane. And Josh Burns, who we know well here, he's kind of cut his teeth in the Rockies organization under Dan O'Dowd and has twice been a general manager, is now the vice president of baseball operations.
Oh, that's a great play right there by Tapia.
Yep, ran it down in right center field, so it turns into a short inning for Russin in his second inning of work. We'll go to the bottom of the eighth. The Rockies leading by 2 over LA. Inning number 8. Time for this afternoon's Sierra Trading Post scouting report. Rockies don't have a lot of position battles, but how will they orchestrate their bench? Will it be a 4-man bench initially? Will it be a 5-man bench? Here are all your candidates. Brandon Barnes, who obviously was in the big leagues all of last year. Charlie Culberson, he's a little dinged up right now. Had a good start to the spring. Charlie was up most of last year. Daniel Descalso, he's a lock. Rockies went and got him from the Cardinals, 2-year deal. Great in the clubhouse, really versatile in the infield. Matt McBride turning heads once again. Michael McHenry was up in the second half of last year, hit over 300. Kyle Parker, we talked about how improved he is, Spilly. Ben Paulson did a nice job in September. You know all about Willeen Rosario. You know all about Drew Stubbs. He's a lock. Rafael Inoa up late last year, did a great job, had a good spring.
Well, to me, it's going to come down to if Daniel Descalso, he's had some injury with his oblique. If he starts on the disabled list, it's going to be between do you want Rafael Inoa or do you want a guy like McBride? McHenry, to me, is most likely on the team as well as Willeen Rosario, because you don't really have a first baseman to back up Morneau. Morneau with the neck injuries last year and has been dealing with them. So when you have a bench and you have depth, you want as many good players as possible. And that list right there, there's quite a sum of players that are going to help the Rockies over the course of the season. I think you're going to see Matt McBride. You remember the big grand slam he hit last year in September. These guys have all proven that they can do stuff in the big leagues. It's just going to be whether the opportunity presents itself early, at the end of camp, or later on as the season progresses.
Daniel Tillman's throwing now for the Dodgers, and Audrey Perez is at the plate, the Rockies catcher. Last couple of innings, 1-2 count. And we talked about it earlier, and if you missed the interview, we had him on for probably close to a half hour because it was a long inning and there was an injury to Chad Gaudin. We had Jeff Bridich on, and you can watch the re-air tonight at 7 o'clock, and he was on throughout the third inning. And one of the things that he values a great deal, and his entire staff, is versatility, especially being in the National League. Guys that play multiple positions, have a multiple skill set. And it's a shattered bat, and it is going to drop. Base hit
for Dylan Thomas.
Yep.
Another guy that is proven to be, came out of high school. High school signed a couple years ago. Starting to show some promise. Stolen a lot of bases in the minor leagues.
But again, you come back to that versatility thing and the fact that it takes a whole lot more than 25 guys to get to the promised land. It takes 35 to 40, 45 guys to get to the, where you want to be. So if you're not on the, major league roster the first week of the season, does not mean that you can't contribute, won't contribute, and need to contribute at some point in time.
And that's where the honesty from the front office comes into play, and trusting that when they tell you, hey, we have a role for you, that we see you in the big picture, that you're going to go to the minor leagues or you're not going to the minor leagues, this is where you're going. It makes sense to the player. I've always said, if in baseball, if you talk to the man like a man and not try to blow smoke where we don't want it, just tell me the truth. I can live with that. I can play for that.
Well, you said he could run, and on cue, Dylan Thomas easily steals second base. McConley getting a quartet of at-bats today. Double, 2-run single, and he grounded into a 3-6-3 double play.
Whoa, let's go Dodgers, champ. I'm about to get booed.
Moving up 90 feet on the ground ball to third is Thomas.
Still need opening day tickets. The only way to guarantee them is to buy 2015 Rockies season tickets or mini plans.
Trevor Story had a good day. 2 for 3, triple and an RBI, single in the 7th, scored a couple of runs. Cesar Galvez is going to hit here for Story.
A lot of the guys that we're seeing today, some of the minor leaguers, were on that Asheville Tourist team. So they get their rings, and the front office decided, you know what, sit here.
Yeah, that ball's well struck to center field. It's going to be an out, but you don't have a joystick to direct the baseball once it leaves the bat, but he stayed on that slider. Galvez lines out. Thomas left the board. 6-4, we'll go to the 9th. As we go to the 9th inning at Salt River Fields, Rockies and Dodgers enter today in the 7th annual Boys and Girls Club of Metro Denver Dream House Raffle. It's your opportunity to win a $2.5 million dream home or a $2 million in cash prize. Help out a great cause in the process. Visit milehighraffle.com for more information. He's full of energy still. Give him a little more ice cream.
Or not so much.
No. Listen, you want
to
wind up wear them out right now, because then they'll pass out around 8:30, and you and the wife can enjoy a nice glass of wine.
Yeah, but you know the crash is the worst spot.
Christian Friedrich in the ball game, and he induces a soft line drive to third, 1 out. Christian, who really adapted well to coming out of the bullpen, former #1 pick. And he did a much better job, seemed more comfortable throwing in that role than he did as a starter.
Well, what really helps with Friedrich, and especially coming out of the pen, is his ability to throw his secondary pitch for a strike. That's slider. He has a wipeout slider. It is effective for both left-handers and right-handers. He's got a chance to be down the road a very late inning reliever for the Rockies.
This is Daniel Mayora at the plate. You know where he went to school, don't you, Christian Friedrich?
The Bird?
The Bird. EKU.
That's right, he's an Eastern Kentucky guy. Him and Langfelds should be teaming up right now. Punch the ticket, Bird.
0-2, late swing. That's a fair ball, just inside the bag. And Tapia.
Easy there, kid.
Yep, going to fire it back in, but it's an inside-out double for Mayora.
For Daniel Mayora.
Going to bring up Robbie Garvey. That's a good pitch, bad result.
Good pitch, gets in under his hands. It's up in the zone. You like that as a potential strikeout pitch, but Daniel Mayora fights it the other way. Tapia does a good job getting to the ball. Don't worry, buddy. You don't have to throw so hard. He's still going to make an effort, but that's a young kid in big league camp trying to impress.
If you keep a book at home, officially that's a ground rule double because a fan touched it. Garvey pops it up left side. Whoa, tough chance. And it was handled by Pat Valleca. They're like a circus, the Vallecas. They have like 30 boys, and they're all either in the big leagues or UCLA or
UC
some
Santa Barbara. No,
that's right.
They are gauchos. This is the black sheep. Pat's the black sheep. He went to UCLA. He said, "You know what, Chris? That's his brother, who spent time in the big leagues with the Reds." He said, "You know what? I'm not following in your footsteps. I'm going to UCLA." Valleca is turning into quite a player. Utility infielder so far. Plays him short, plays him second, handles the bat very well.
To Adam Law's in there, 1-1.
Lars Anderson's on deck. I feel like he just hit 2 batters ago.
He did. Lars Anderson, it's like a minor league game. This is going to be a tough play.
It's a great effort. Eastern Kentucky is representing today.
Yeah. They haven't hit a ball hard against Friedrich, but they have 2 on, an infield hit. And that'll bring up Lars Anderson for the 8th time today.
Well, Langfelds has already made an impression with the 430-foot double to center field. Being able to get that throw off, you can see he loses his balance, but that's very Nolan Arenado-like right there. Nolan would go bare hand, but it's a great effort.
I honestly have Lars Anderson in 6 different spots in the book.
He's all-time batter.
It's like a triplet. Lars, Mars,
Cars
Anderson. We're getting a little loopy, folks.
I'll tell you one thing, the kids can play. Minor league kids from Asheville that have got their rings today in their back pocket in the baseball field, they've shown me something. And I'm sure they showed Walt and Larry Walker over there something as well.
Good slider. That's that slider you were talking about, 0-1. You like the kid walk because if you don't kid him first, he'll get you. He looks better now than he did late in his career. He's in great shape.
I worked out with him in 2003. I was a minor leaguer living in Boulder and spent the entire offseason working out with Walker. And I remember one time I'd bring my puppy and he was, oh man, we're letting minor leaguers work out at Coors Field, bringing their puppies. Oh, this organization's going down the tube.
Ooh, where's that? 1-2, just missed. Good pitch. Went slider, and then tried to hit the black with the heater. He struck out 27 last year and 24 in a third big league innings. So one of the reasons going to the bullpen, it translates stuff-wise for Friedrich. Defensive swing. You know, we have fun with the guys that are coming up wearing 98, 94. Guess what? In their hometown, they're the greatest player that ever came through their given town. These are great players, man. Some will make it to the big league, some may not. If you're in professional baseball, you're one heck of a player.
It's good at bat by Lars Anderson. It's his 12th at bat in the last 2 innings.
I mean, he pinch ran, then he
pinch hit. I think he's pinch pitch. Mattingly is doing a masterful job over there working
really
that
scorecard, isn't he? He's going to have to forget everything he learned in March when April starts.
Yeah.
Right? And a bouncer to third. This should do it. And it does. Rockies win it this afternoon, 6-4. Come from behind fashion over the Los Angeles Dodgers. And a lot of good things happen. Rick Matthews and Walt Weiss shaking hands. There's Stu Kolb. We'll hear from Walt Weiss when we come back. Rockies win it this afternoon at Salt River Fields.